DJ Chuang here for day 20 of February is Fundraising. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. All month, I've been creating a daily video update to share with you the story, the vision, the need, and the opportunity for launching a movement of multi-ethnic, multiplying missional churches, and my work with Ambassador Network to be a strategy consultant that supports, resources, coaches. It helps accelerate a movement of these kinds of new churches. And today I took a road trip down to San Diego and got to connect with three next generation young Asian American leaders in their respective contexts. All three of them looking at new opportunities and really tapping into their creativity. And also we had some conversations about their faith and how that can be best expressed and supported and an integral part of their lives. And all of them are in various stages along their spiritual journey. And there's just something that we all hope for is a church home where we can be fully ourselves, understood without explaining, and have that sense of belonging with our family and bicultural history. And the context of that is a multi-Asian, multi-ethnic kind of a church, of which there are very few around the country, and very few, practically non-existent there in the San Diego area. While there are some great spiritual homes for people generically, there's something special about a church home where you can actually be fully yourself and have a sense of belonging, have a sense of support and empowerment, and also have the context where your personal leadership and calling can be developed and called out. And that's something we all dream and hope for. And it was good to connect with them and provide some words of encouragement and to find some fellow like-minded people to walk along in the journey. One of the amazing things is two of those three were actually youth and college kids during my 2 years in Raleigh, North Carolina, and now they've grown up and they've become my peers. So one of those transitions in how we relate with one another, and I share with them what's going on in my life and with this February fundraiser. So quick shout out to Aaron and Matt. Thanks for watching this video and meeting up for lunch. Let me give you a more concrete example. I think I haven't mentioned this on my previous episodes, and if it's a review, that's good too for those of you that are new to watching this video. Over the week between Christmas and New Year's, every 3 years, InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, along with two of the other Christian fellowships, host a tri-annual conference once every 3 years called Urbana. So this past year was called Urbana 12, and it's a large-scale student mission conference, largest one here in North America. This year it had an attendance of 16,000, mostly college students, some young adults, people who were eager and passionate for God's heart for all people, God's kingdom to be manifest in all realms of life, and seeking God's will for how they can use all of their life, even their vocational life and their relational life, to make a difference in this world. And of those 16,000, there was a record high of 40% that were Asian and Asian American descent. So a huge portion that were non-majority in attendance there. And several of the key leaders were also Asian American. So of those 16,000, they got to experience an entire week of multi-ethnic worship, multi-ethnic community, reading the scriptures, reading the Bible through a number of different perspectives and lenses. And sometimes we don't realize that we look at scripture through cultural lenses. And as good and as valuable as the seminaries and institutions and the theological systems that we have inherited here in the Western world, it's an incomplete picture of understanding Scripture in a global community. And I think we got a taste of that at Urbana 12. And my heart was also a little sad because those 16,000 people got to experience multi-ethnic worship and multi-ethnic community, where people could be completely themselves with their background and heritage, and yet have a sense of belonging and a contribution that was unique, a unique voice, not just blending in some kind of a melting pot, quote unquote, but more of a mosaic, and where every culture, every flavor could be celebrated and accentuated in a biblical community. And those 16,000 people will be, the majority of them will be going back to their homes, wherever they came from, and wind up in a place that is not multi-ethnic. So here in America, in the United States, over 300,000 churches, less than 8% are multi-ethnic. And that's just a 20% ratio of diversity, meaning 80% one race, 20% others. Just with a 20% ratio of diversity, less than 8%. So less than 8% of those 16,000 will get to go back home and experience multi-ethnic worship. And that is a tragedy, I think. In the 21st century, where we have an African American in the highest office of the land as President of the United States, we do not have churches, the proportionate number of churches that are racially and ethnically diverse. That ought not to be. We just celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and his dream was for a society where people are not held to their skin, the skin of their color, but the character of their heart, and all peoples can come together to the table. And certainly the table is a metaphorical allusion to the spiritual table of communion that we should be sharing as the people of God. And as part of Ambassador Network, we are aiming to launch multi-ethnic churches, and it's much easier to create a new church than to change an existing church. So both are needed, and yet it is easier to launch something new than to change something old. Jesus alluded to the difference between old wineskin and new wineskin. And so I want to be a part and invite you to partner with me to support my work as a strategy consultant to develop these kinds of churches. Now, there are resources that exist through denominations and things like that, called boot camps, that help churches to be launched. I believe, and we are providing additional resources like a residency, like a roundtable, like resourcing and coaching on a strategic level and on a personal level, in addition to supplement, and to really give a higher success rate to the hard work of church planting. Some very gifted people have done church plants, and even they, the gifted, talented, the people that are writing the books, have said that church planting is the hardest thing that they've ever done. And if it's hard for the gifted people, it's that much harder for the normal people like us, just normally gifted. But if we feel called, and God can provide the resources, God can provide the people, we want to provide the support and come along like Aaron lifting up the arms of Moses, to make a biblical allusion to what we are trying to do to raise a new generation and a new wave of churches that will be multi-ethnic and multi-Asian. So that's my heart, my most compelling picture of, again, just to connect with these young people and to realize, man, this is such a compelling need, that those of us who are on the margins of society or come from biracial, mixed marriages background have a challenging time just finding a church home where we can just walk in, not have to explain ourselves, and feel a sense of belonging, feel a sense of understanding and acceptance, where we can become all that God has created us to be, and that our heritage and our family background is not left at the door, but is fully embraced and expressed in the church. That's the beauty of the church, that we long and desire to see at Ambassador Network, and invite you to join in. A quick tech note for those of you that are staying to the end of this video. Just wanted to share with you my experience in running 20 days of these videos, 8 days left in February's fundraising. I've tried a bunch of different technologies in terms of video and audio and streaming versus pre-recording. Just realizing, boy, there's still a lot of technological hoops to line up to create a video for an update. Not quite streamlined yet, not quite easy to use for us non-techies, but I'm persevering. Today I'm recording this on QuickTime Player on my MacBook Pro. I don't have the latest technology. I don't have a video crew with $1,000 of equipment, but money and resources are not the things that need to hold us back. When we have limited resources, it's an opportunity to use more creativity and more innovation. Scarcity breeds innovation, to quote one of the authors that have really just invited us to say, hey, you've got a great opportunity, don't hold back, use what you got, make a difference in the world. DJ Chuang signing off today. Day 20 of February's fundraising. Come back for day 21 tomorrow.